Welcome to lesson 2 of 20. Pause the video, have a go in your own time. All the usual stuff. It might not be possible, you're allowed to say I don't know, etc. I'm going to walk you through my answer. I actually know this straight away. I'm just going to try and show you my thinking process. When I see the X, I just kind of see a blank space. Like, oh, well, there's something that needs to go there. Because that just is a way of representing, oh, I've got it, it's a 2. So that I'll write that more formally as x equals 2 because that makes it into a half. Because we know that a half plus a half is 1. Do you find fractions a bit tricky? Maybe that makes it a bit awkward. Well, it's like saying what's a half of a circle plus a half of a circle is a whole of a circle. There you go. And that is called by inspection. Because you might have like heard things, for example, oh, all equations are solved by doing the same to both sides. Well, you know, that's kind of true. You know, it's not wrong, but sometimes you can just use by inspection to solve something because it's just obvious, and you're not guessing. Okay. Next question. Have a go in your own time. Pause the video, and then come back when you're ready. Okay, you're still not sure? Just in case, I want you to pause the video again with the extra information. Remember that it actually means p times q times I is 0. Okay, and the answer is p equals 0 and or q equals 0 and or r equals 0. That's the full answer. What's the logic here? The logic is you've got 3 numbers multiplied together that equals 0, which means that one of them has to be 0. Again, remember to use the timestamp skipped. Once you're happy with an explanation, use the timestamp skip to the next question. I'm going to keep waffling for a bit. What's 5 times 2 times 1? Well, it's not 0. I mean, what's 5 times 0 times 1? Well, it's 0. Does that make more sense now? So if 3 things multiplied together make 0, one of them has to be 0. But they could all be 0, who knows? Next question. Pause the video, have a go in your own time, see you back in a second. Okay, here's the thing. We've only got plus signs. There's nothing else. Which means we can just ignore the brackets. Which means we've just got x plus x plus x plus x. Which means you've got 4 of them. Which means which means that x equals 20, because I'm going to just divide both sides by 4. So you might now be like, fine, I'm going to move on to the next question with the timestamp. If you're a bit confused, remember you can use the boxes again. You've got 4 things added together that make 80, and they have to all be the same thing. So you can just kind of go, oh, got it, must be 20. And then you write it formally as x equals 20. Another way is you might, yeah, that'll do. Boom. Let's move on to the next question. As usual, I like to start my lessons with a few solve questions. Have a go in your own time, pause the video, see you in a minute. And the answer is not possible. Again, I'm too lazy to write possible, I'm just writing pos, it's short for possible. You might also say there's an infinite number of solutions. But anyway, let's not say that. Let's just say it's not possible because how many equations are there? There's 2 unknowns, and how many equations are there? There's 1 equation. You just can't. You'd need 2 equations. Right. Just one last thing is you might have said, oh, but I said that a equals 10 and b equals 3. Well, the thing is, that is a possible solution. I'll write suln to save time. But it's not the solution. It's not the solution. So it could be that A is 11 and B is 4. or 12 and 5. So basically, you can't solve it. You can't know what the actual answer is. Let's do the next question. We're going to do a true or false question. I don't often do these in videos, but this particular true or false question I think kind of works in a video. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of things, and you just have to, but you could just like tick them or put a cross next to each one. Is it true or false? And this particular one, there's going to be a bonus lesson on this if you want some extra practice. Let's do some more over here. Go away, have a go in your own time. See you back here in a minute. 3 squared is 9. Yup. Nope. Yup. 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 So in fact, only one of them was wrong. 5 minus 5 is actually 0. I think most of these are self-explanatory. Remember that it doesn't matter what these make. Eventually, you're multiplying it by 0, so it has to be 0. And you might be thinking here, what about minus 3 squared? Well, it doesn't matter. It was just a true or false question. So is 3 squared equal to 9? Well, it is. Now, this is the one that some people might find difficult. Here's a question. What is minus 1 squared? It's minus 1 times minus 1, which is 1. What's minus 1 cubed? It's minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1. I mean, this is pretty horrific, but basically that is 1. And then 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. And if you just keep doing that, you end up realizing, oh, well, 75 is an odd number, which means that I can just kind of cancel all these pairs. Remember to fast forward if you don't need any more explanation. You can just jump to the next timestamp for the next question. Basically, you can pair all of them off, and each pair just makes 1. And then you just end up with a minus 1 left over at the end. There you go. Let's look at the next question. We're going to do a plot question. So again, there's the issue of you've got to draw the axes. Challenge, can you draw really sloppy axes but still pick up the points you might need in an exam? I'll talk you through that as I do my answer. So pause the video, have a go in your own time. I'm going to now do my answer. I've labelled that as the x-axis because often the exam needs that. I've labelled that as the y-axis, often the exam needs that. I've labelled that as a 0, often the exam needs that. In some very, very basic exams, you might have to label the axes with these numbers as well. But in general, I find that's not necessary in most exams. I'm kind of not going to bother. Well, I will just briefly. Anyway, right. So let's circle that one in green. X, remember it goes X and then Y because it's in alphabetical order. So that's minus 3. I'll just mark it with a dot. And then Y is 5, which means the cross ends up there. Let's do this one in, hang on, let's do this one in red. X is 0, Y is 4, so the cross ends up there. So that's what that one looks like. Let's do another one. Let's do same to both sides. Same to both sides has another bonus lesson. Because a lot of students find this difficult, so I've got more than one bonus lesson on this topic. That's the equation, and this is what I want you to do to both sides. I've put it in the circle. So take your time, pause the video. Okay, it's a plus or a minus. In this case, it's a minus, so we do it once to each side. So you end up with 5 plus 3x minus 2x equals y minus 2 minus 2x. Well, now let's just simplify it. Well, 3x minus 2x, that's just x. So that'd be 5 plus x. And then we can't simplify the other side because we've got a y and then a number and then some x's. So that's the answer. There's a bonus lesson with another practice question for that. Whoops, hang on, I didn't mean to do that. Let's do the next question. And the next question also has a bonus lesson. I'm sure that sometimes I forget to say there's a bonus lesson, so you can always just have a look and see what bonus lessons there are anyway. And if you're not using the bonus lessons, that's fine. And remember, I've also got my free maths book, or you have to pay for the printed version. And that has its own playlist on YouTube with over 100 additional videos. So there's a place that you can find additional extra practice. Okay, right. Let's get on with this. Whoops. Oh wow, that's how I can choose different colours. You know, I've just discovered how you can choose different colours. Well, it's a bit late now. Right, 4 times 2, that's 8. 3 times 2, that's 6. 4, I'm just going to write the numbers in. Why is this important? Why do I like this question? Whoops. Oh my goodness, I'm now just dizzy with the excitement of being able to change the colours. Expect new colours in the next video. I think these 3 are important. 1 times 2 is 2. Some students, with good reason, like to say, why is 1 times 2 2? And my answer is always because of this pattern. This pattern here. That's the reason. Why does this pattern exist? Well, at some point you have to say because that's how we design maths. But you can also say it's because that's when we look at the world, we see these patterns, that as things increase, we represent them with the numbers. Anyway, and it also helps us understand how minus numbers work. Blah, blah, blah. I reckon most students by now have already skipped forward to the next bit because they're like, yeah, Duncan, I saw the answers. I didn't need to hear any more waffle about that. Next. This is just a little drill. You might be doing them as I write, in which case you might not need to skip, depends on how fast you are. But it's not erased. Please take your time, please take time, please take time. Okay, I'll see you back here when you've unpaused. 1, 1, 5, minus 1, minus 5. Notice these two are the same because you can just reorder the second one here. You can put the +3 at the start and the -2 at the end. Oh look, it's the same question. Let's make another observation because we might as well. That's +5 and that's -5, and the reason is because here you can imagine an imaginary plus at the front of the 2, so you can see how that's plus plus, minus minus. Let's do the next question. The next question is an expand question. I wonder what that means. Well, I think we did this earlier, didn't we? So, in an earlier lesson. So pause the video, have a go in your own time. See you back here in a sec. That 10, well, let's just look at the answer first. That's 10x plus 20. I'll waffle about it as usual, just briefly. What mathematical symbol goes in there? It has to be a times sign because the times sign is the only one with an invisibility cloak, which means we know it's 10 times x plus 2. Because it's a bracket, the 10 just multiplies every single thing in the bracket individually. That's how it works. We're going to finish off with a little calculate question. Have a go in your own time. See you back here in a sec. 4 minus 6, 12. Oh, this is difficult. Do you know what? I'm having to imagine I'm going to be careful here. I'm going to imagine a number line, that's minus 11. Then when I add 1 to it, it takes it to minus 10. There you go. That's the end of that video. This video, that video, this video. See you in the next one. And I wasn't faking it when I just did the number line there. I wouldn't normally do it written down. I'd normally do it in my head carefully. But sometimes with the minus numbers, I think it pays just to be a little bit extra careful.